My name is Dr. Dana Brantley-Sieders. I'm a Research Evaluation Manager at Susan G. Komen, and I'm honored to be able to present our team's work on understanding the impact of Komen's research funding on breast cancer clinical care in the context of drugs that are used to treat breast cancer. So as we know, it's a long and arduous process to bring a new drug to the clinic, starting with basic research discovery studies that then lead to preclinical studies for promising agents used to treat the disease, in this case breast cancer, in clinically relevant models, and then on to clinical testing in humans before we see FDA approval. It requires hundreds of investigators, billions of dollars, and a lot of different funders to make this happen. And so as a nonprofit organization that funds research, we want to understand what our precise role is in bringing these drugs to the clinics. And so our analysis involved breast cancer drugs that were approved between 2012 and 2023, which we have listed here. And we wanted to understand where Komen has touched these in terms of two different metrics. So did Komen fund the research study that is referenced that led to the pipeline of clinical development? And also, is equally as important, we want to understand how our investments in people, either prior funding or funding overlapping with the project period, helped these great minds contribute to the development of these drugs and the studies that led to the development of these drugs. So we took an approach where we started working backwards on the pipeline, where we identified the phase 3 clinical trials that were fundamental in bringing these drugs to the clinic. And we mined the references from these studies that we gathered from press releases and from prescription labels, and then worked backwards using the citations to then identify the key phase 2 and phase 1 clinical trials, the preclinical trials, all the way back to the basic research studies where the target was discovered. And we did this in an unbiased manner. So when we were searching the literature, we weren't looking for Komen per se. We were just looking at what the literature pathway that led to that identified the fundamental studies. And then using this, we then cross-referenced the authors on these publications with our Komen databases, so funding databases and investigator databases, to understand Komen's touch points. And so what I'm really most proud and pleased to report is that Komen research funding has had direct and indirect touch points for all 19 of these drugs that span treatment spectrums from HER2-positive disease, triple-negative disease, germline mutations for BRCA1 and 2, multiple subtypes, as well as hormone receptor-positive disease. And we think this is particularly impactful, again, not just in terms of the study that was directly funded, so the aim of the grant was realized, and that's a Komen direct touch point, but all of these important components and players in the field. So if we're funding somebody prior to the study, we're keeping them in breast cancer research. We're encouraging them to keep doing this important work that will then ultimately lead to the discovery. And if we're funding them during the project period in which they're collaborating or contributing to, we're keeping their laboratories functioning, funded, so they have the bandwidth and the resources to be able to contribute to these fundamental studies that bring drugs to the clinic.